The internet can be a strange place, but what is even stranger is how it can create the craziest ideas that people will believe. It can be a place for crazy conspiracies to gain attraction and ultimately cause harm to others. The results can lead to what happened on January 6, 2021, when the Capitol was under attack and the nation was all in worry. The Capitol riots is an example of how people can be led to do terrible things through lies and manipulation. Understanding the details that could cause the chaos is important so that we can learn what to look out for on the internet. False information can be easily spread, and for the people who weren't vigilant enough, fell for the trap. The result was people getting hurt and a lot of damage. I'm going to discuss what caused and led to the Capitol riots happening, and then go over what transpired on that day. Facebook had been a place for many right-wing groups to come together and discuss trying to keep Biden from becoming president. Facebook, instead of being vigilant, cared about money and allowed these discussions to continue. Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen said that they prioritized growth over safety. Facebook thought that because the election was over, there was no need for safety measures. This allowed many extremist groups such as the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers to form alliances and coordinate with each other. Facebook had a policy to ban accounts coming from foreign countries or fake names that, according to an article from CNN, try to coordinate inauthentic behaviors. But the platform failed in keeping accounts that used their real names and lived in the United States from coordinating attacks against the government. Ironically, the people who weren't hiding their nefarious activities were the ones that were not on Facebook's radar. Some employees of Facebook claimed that they were being held back by their superiors from being able to enact research-based policy decisions. Facebook was slow at finding groups inciting to stop the election. In fact, the Facebook group Stop the Steal managed to be on the platform for 2 days until finally being banned. But by then, 360,000 members had already joined. Facebook failed to realize how coordinated the movement was. Every time one extremist group was banned, another popped up, and even some were able to evade Facebook's detection entirely. In 2019, a Facebook employee did an experiment. They made an account posed as a conservative mom named Carol. After the fake account followed a bunch of conservative accounts, it started getting recommendations to follow participant political groups, including one that was called Lock Hillary Up. Unfortunately, Facebook wasn't the only force responsible for the Capitol riots. President Trump kept telling his followers that the election was stolen from him and that the true patriots had to stand up for themselves and the nation. President Trump had a big speech on the day of the Capitol riots in which he told his listeners to march to the Capitol in an attempt to stall Biden's official election victory. President Trump told his supporters that day to fight like hell because their country was at stake. During the rioting, President Trump tweeted that Mike Pence had failed to have the courage to protect the country because he did not go along with President Trump's view that he really won the election. That now put a target on Mike Pence's head, and the rioters were now trying to go after him. To make matters worse, the New York Times reported that President Trump kept declining to send the National Guard to handle the situation. Several of his advisors noticed that the president expressed pleasure in the fact that people were fighting for him. During and after President Trump delivered the speech to the ground, a massive crowd of Trump supporters started to gather at the Capitol chanting, "Fight for Trump!" The soon-to-be rioters felt that they were going to take back their country. At around 2:13 p.m., the rioters managed to break into the Capitol building. When the rioters started getting into the main chamber, many senators evacuated to safety. Finally, at 3:15 p.m., 1,000 troops of the National Guard are called upon to help aid the local law enforcement. It was only after 8 p.m. that the building was finally secured. President Trump had also sent out a tweet calling the rioters great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long. An article from USA Today reported that the Capitol resulted in 68 people arrested and 5 dead. A pipe bomb was found in both the Democratic and Republican National Committee. Many of the rioters could be seen as being a victim of cult mentality. Attorney Clint Broughton said it best when he explained they prey on vulnerable victims and give them a sense of purpose. President Trump's cult-like followers felt that they were protecting their country. The Capitol riots were caused by the lies spread across the internet. People who did not understand that everything you see on the internet can't be trusted. believed that the Democrats were trying to steal the election. Facebook only helped spread the misinformation through its algorithm and negligence from the higher-ups. That, combined with President Trump's ramblings of a fraud election, added major fuel to the fire. The Capitol riots caused many injuries and death, all for a false cause. The Capitol riots is an example of how conspiracy theories from the internet can have serious ramifications in the real world. We need to be vigilant on the internet and not allow false information to manipulate our decisions. The Capitol riots will always be an example of what happens when the internet has too much power.